welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Gwen from Frail, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Just gonna break the third or fourth wall, whatever. Just had your one of your cats just pop in the
Yeah.
corner. It was kind of a cool close up. Just also out of the there we go. So it's like we're being controlled. I kind of like that actually. It's the kind of a little. It keeps it real because I don't think I find I have more musicians have pets that join the interviews than anything because you know artists love you know animals probably more than anybody. I think And
Absolutely.
if I was at home, my dog would be popping into mine too. So it's all good. So you've been out for a while, and I've heard about you, but it's only in the past year I've really kind of come across my radar to really start getting into you and listening to you to the point where I feel comfortable wanting to have you on, and we can kind of talk about your songwriting and your music, and you're really kind of a full package in a way. You're tied in with your sounds. Sean as a player, you as a singer, your image, the concept of the band and the songs kind of all flow together. It's not like it's piecemeal together.
Right. Yeah,
And you've
we
been yeah. No, please start. That's what's going.
um yeah, I mean I think Sean and I met in 2016 and then we kind of decided to do some music stuff in 2017 and it just kind of happened naturally. Sean is a musician. He's was in a band previously a million years ago called Disengage and he had stopped playing for a while. I think he just kind of lost his love for music. Um, then one Christmas, I think 2016, 2017, I bought him Logic, which is a recording software,
Yep.
and it kind of reignited his love for writing and recording music, and um, then it just kind of went from
Yeah.
there.
Got excited. Actually, let me ask you that. So was the lost love of music was it less about all the garbage that goes with it? So every time he played, he kind of felt like he was remembering all the bad stuff, like the trauma. You know, what I mean, the toxic part of music, 'cause it kind of takes the fun out of playing. Like you start playing, you're like, yeah, I should have a band. You're like, oh no, then the band and the drama and this and that. But
Right.
music's always the core of who you are. And once you kind of get past that, you kind of heal a little bit. You're like, okay, I can enjoy music again.
Yeah, I can't speak for him, but I think that there was a lot wrapped up in why he
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
left, like you were
The
saying.
music business sucks it out of people. I hear that a lot. That's what I kind of meant. Like, was it just the industry kind of just? It's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Um, we have been lucky thus far, in that, we work with really good people
Mhm.
and we're just kind of but I think too our mindset is different. We're not like go go go, we've got
Mhm.
to achieve this and do this. We've adopted the mindset of just be like water and whatever comes we'll look at it and deal with it and then move on or move with it. It just depends on
Yeah.
what it is.
What's really great about it is the fact that you guys you build on a sound. Everything's in-house. You do a lot of your own production before you even go do the recording. So you own your sound. You guys are very kind of like a locky like a cottage industry where you do it yourself, and then once it's ready, then you move on to the parts where you have other people help put it out there. So you're
Right.
kind of controlling your product. You're not surrendering to anything that isn't there. And for you guys, technically, you're in a world where 2017 and then COVID and all the way the years have gone with technology. This has actually worked out really well for you to give you guys a nice, slow, strong, steady, foundation.
Yeah. I think it's really important for Sean and I to kind of own what we do and to
Hmm.
have, the biggest say over what we do. Having said that, this last album, Heretics and Lullabies, we did surrender a little, I mean, a little bit in that we gave our, what we had created and we gave it to our producer, and allowed him to put his stamp on it. And I think, we're both super happy with how that worked out. I think Sean was a little bit more hesitant than I was. I'm very, happy and eager to let other people come in and see what their thoughts
You
are on
do.
it. Because to me, like, if you don't like it, then just don't use it,
You
right?
don't do
It's
it. Right. I mean, creativity, a good producer will help bring out the best in you. So are you always sacrificing things? No, they're almost like the helicopter looking into the woods. They're going, you don't see this, but I see this, or I have the experience of knowing this. Let's try this. So on some level, it's less about the producer and more about the skills and their foresight, helping bring out a little more idea that you may not have realized or seen. So I see it as less
Absolutely.
of a surrender and just more about being open to a creative source that brings you up a little bit more to something you didn't thought of. Better or
Yeah,
worse.
exactly. 100%. That's exactly how I look at it, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
It doesn't feel like a different band, but the production is nice. And it just
Yeah.
feels like, I mean, it does feel like it's a little bit
It's like
tuning in, maybe a little bit, like,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
because the songwriting's there. I mean, and John's guitar work is just fantastic. And I like the way it builds and it's the suspense. It's not, sometimes it's less is more with him.
Yeah, it's, some songs have like three notes the
But
entire
but
song.
that's good though. But that's good though. You're serving a song. That's what I always say. I mean, some
Exactly.
songs don't need a million notes. Some do. It's fun, but some
Yeah.
don't.
No, for sure. And it, like you said, it's kind of more about the vibe than about how
Mhm.
many, how much can I show off? Like he's not a show off. He doesn't have to get in there and put like a million guitars, solos and that
No, but
bullshit.
his
So
work shows for it in the albums. It just you could just listen and be like, that's a good guitar player. That's a good songwriter.
right. And it's just about, like you said, what serves the song.
Mhm. Now, how are you guys working on the song? Is it sounds are coming in? You have an idea of the lyrics? Like, what do you guys have a different way of doing it, like mixing it up sometimes, or do you guys have like a way of doing it? Because your music's
We
a little bit different than some people's music out there right now.
Yeah, we always end up doing it the same way. So Sean has a library of hundreds of
Like
riffs.
riffs.
Yeah, like kind of sketches. And
Yeah.
then we'll kind of go through and we'll decide, okay, let's pick 20 and
Hmm.
narrow it down from there. So once we have a good, 15, 20, then I'll go in and I'll make like vocal sketches over it, and kind of figure out, which ones we decide that we want to flesh out and demo. So if we like where it's going, then I'll start writing lyrics. Like for me, writing lyrics is difficult, because it pulls so much from my past personal experiences, and um,
Yeah.
it's painful sometimes. It's like exposing all this stuff that is very private, right? And it's
Yeah.
great because it allows you a catharsis. It allows you to get it out there and to cleanse it from yourself. But at the same time, you know, like all these people are listening to this cleanse and they can read exactly what was going through your mind, and so it can be a little daunting. So I have to kind of get I don't know that that's ever really stopped me, because for me it's just in the moment. It's like, get this out and make it beautiful,
Sometimes it makes a better song and being personal. And I was like that, but there is a time where sometimes, when you're that, I was when you're that personal putting it out there and then it becomes
Right.
like a hit. Like, here's a good example. I talked to Jen Napolitano not that long ago and talking about like Joey or whatever. She brought up putting it out there. I mean, you don't expect it to be that thing. And then you have to sing that every night and relive that emotion every
Right.
night. And everybody
Yeah.
loves it. And you're expected to it. It's like, at that point, you're like, oh, what did I do? I mean, it's going to
Yeah.
have success, but man, our most
Yeah.
most big hits though are like that. You know what I mean? I can name a billion of them that I've talked to, and it's from that. So it's like the balance of like, well, I went through it, and this got me over it. So now it's just a fun song. It's just a thing. But most artists still kind of have a leg in it still.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs that I cannot sing live, just simply for that reason, is that, and that I really don't know that I would be able to make it through the song without losing it. Some
Yeah,
extremely painful, like Skin and Sorrow. I thought, well, maybe I could try it now, but I still don't have enough distance from it yet
right.
to do it justice. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's pretty strong. I mean, you could
Yeah.
maybe write some really great songs and change your lyrics a little bit so it's not so personal, so you can
Right,
enjoy it more, not beat yourself up so much. You know what I mean?
right.
It doesn't have to be, everything for everybody. It's still got to, you can say
Right,
something for yourself,
right.
if you choose. It's not about you feeling bad. Because I mean, problem is you write a good song like that, and that's what really it's about. It's not about, what you choose. It's just, and then people are like, oh my goodness, because everyone hears it differently. It's like when you read a book, you picture it all in your mind differently. So, and once you put it out there, your song out there, it becomes part of the universe,
Right.
and everybody relates to it differently. And also, you have people coming up to you and saying, "Oh my God, that song affects me here. I'd love to hear it." And then you're like, "Oh," and then you kind of, and you're like, "Oh," and then you're like, "Now I've got more of an obligation because other people are interpreting it, and it's empowering them,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it puts you in a pickle."
Yeah, for sure. Now, luckily, we try to keep, well, it depends on where we're playing, but the sets that we have um, for the upcoming tour, it's very much more upbeat, I guess. It's kind of more
Mhm.
of our more upbeat songs, so we don't have to worry about playing. Like I think if we played Skin and Sorrow in this set, it would just drag everybody down. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I think I don't think it's an effect. I don't think it has affected us that much as of yet. If we had to do like a really sad set or something, then I'd have to revisit it at that point.
Be very powerful. They'll be like, "Oh my God, this was the saddest set ever in the world." Like, these songs is the worst, the saddest, but also the best. Like, I'm so sad, crying. This is awesome. Ah. Yeah, a happy cry. You know what I mean? At the end, you like you
Right.
feel so much better, but you're exhausted. I can't
For
do this. I
sure.
need snack foods to get through this whole show. It's just emotionally exhausting. Um, because that's what it's all about. Snack foods is so. Well, we're talking about the tour actually right now. So you are on tour, and
We're leaving next month. Yes.
yeah, set list. Are we using now? Here's the thing: Spotlight, Spotify can be a dirty word when it comes to money. But I do think one of the things, the one good thing I think it has sometimes is it allows artists to see what people are listening to, with I think pretty accurate numbers. So you have an idea of when you go out to play,
Right. Right.
what do people want to hear? And you can see by the streaming numbers that, I can see what your stronger songs are just by looking at the streaming numbers.
Right.
So you can kind of go into a new group, and depending if it's not you're playing a show for other people or might not be your exact audience, you can come in with all your strongest, most powerful songs, your more popular songs, to pull them into the rest of your stuff.
Right.
It gives you an extra ace. Do you ever use tools like that to kind of gauge where you're at?
So, I mean, I think, we definitely look at our Spotify numbers and we take a look at, what is doing well for us. But when it comes to creating a set,
Hmm.
we absolutely keep in mind what people want to hear, but it's also, if we just played the top 10 songs in our Spotify, I don't think that would be a very cohesive set. Like
Right.
I think it would kind of, it would just be too all over the place. So, we do have to keep, you know, uh, our mind open for that as well. So we kind of
Like
pick some.
symmetry is part of the conversation. That's why I ask you because your music is not normal in a way where it's like the hits just keep coming. There's a
Right,
big picture thought out map of it. So, I mean, if you're gonna listen to your band, I mean, you can listen to a couple songs, but you're really, pack a lunch because you're really gonna be investing if you want to get the most out of the music. It's thought out and it's, a journey.
right,
Taking out short pieces, you could listen to it and be fine, but it wouldn't, you're right, it wouldn't have the same flow that you put it together as. But then it puts
exactly.
you in a world of festivals, opening acts,
Right,
and it's like you don't have the time to present yourself in the way that you will. I think you guys will be big enough. You'll be able to do your own shows soon. So, put that out there for you. So it's
Mhm.
just in the meantime, it's just how to navigate those waters is going to be more of a challenge.
Yeah, and all of these things are kind of in our mind, but again, the most important thing is the integrity of the set or the integrity of the way that the album is laid out or all of these things. We try to be very thoughtful about these things because it does matter. You're telling a story, and it's just what story do you want to tell, right?
Mhm.
So you do have to be mindful about that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, you come out. I mean, obviously, your lyrics are very strong and the music's strong, but it's all the albums, everything you've done, it all works together. You also have a strong image from the beginning. You know who you were. Even your website and like your merchandise and your everything is all nicely done, you
No,
know.
thank you.
And you're welcome. And not a lot of artists have a full thought. They're like, this is what I do. I do music, or I do this. But you guys kind of have a big blueprint of everything, like right out of the gate. It's not just like, oh, we'll do some shirts, we'll do this. I mean, everything all works together and it flows.
Oh,
Was
thank
that
you.
the thought though from the very, very beginning, or has it just kind of evolved even better as you've gotten better at it?
I think Sean and I are both designers, right? That's what we
Mhm.
went to school for.
Okay, that makes sense
Yeah,
already.
I
It's already
yeah,
making sense to me already. Yeah, the thought
yeah.
process.
I think it's just kind of who we are, and it's just kind of,
Mhm.
oh, well, this makes sense with this, and this is what we want to portray. And like with videos, we're trying to tell a story, so we want to immerse you even further. And when you're writing or when you're recording or whatever, you get into kind of a flow, or even performing, you get into kind of a flow state, and it feels kind of euphoric. You feel kind of high, right? So like if you
Mhm.
we want to try and bring people into that world and immerse them in that so that they can feel part of it, but also feel that, hopefully get part of that flow state as well, that euphoric kind of feeling.
And I get also that being designed, everything you illustrate, everything you do, your music, even this, your sounds are illustrated sonically. Your show is, like everything is going to be done the same way because that's just who you guys are. You don't know a different way to just, to
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
anything, probably, I imagine, right? Um, when you said something earlier with your songs, when you guys come with the riffs and stuff, and then you start working on what songs that work good, and you talk about putting some rough vocals down. Are you doing like, because you don't have lyrics down, I don't think at that point. Are you mostly doing like vocal just sounds and make believe words or scatting type of things, like phrasing and cadence that'll work maybe, and then you kind of come in and fill in the concept, or is it like got a notebook and you just kind of throwing things around?
So when I do a vocal sketch, it's really simple. It's just like la 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 la, right? And
Okay.
there's no sometimes words come, but a lot of times they don't.
Mhm.
Um, Now where Sean has a library of hundreds of riffs, I have a library of hundreds of lyric notes.
Okay.
So I'll go back and I'll think, okay, well, this song really makes me feel this.
Mhm.
And you know then I'll be like, okay, pick, is there anything in my lyric notes that I can dig out? And usually that kind of ends up as like a jumping off point.
Yep.
The lyric notes are sometimes a word, sometimes a sentence, sometimes it's almost an entire song. um, and then it just kind of goes from there. I do find that when I write, um, when it ends up being almost an entire song, it never works out because you can't shove words into like,
Right.
the phrasing or the cadence or the beats, or it just really depends um on what you've got going on and the melody that I've laid down. So it just really kind of you have to pull that apart anyway. So that never works out. So I usually try to keep it very, very simple,
Mhm.
and then I can just go from there.
It feels like everything would be a first draft of a book anyhow, right? You never just put out the first book. You got to go back and tear it apart and then move
Yeah.
chapters and rewrite it. And so, I mean, but you want to have your original idea down to push it against something before, so you have something to work from. Um, let's talk about the tour. So this is pretty exciting. This should be a good bill.
Yeah.
How did it come about, and what are we looking at for you and the whole touring process and song picking, and what are you kind of the nitty gritty? What are we looking at?
Yeah. So we went out with Dogma last year as well.
Hmm.
Um, the girls are super sweet. And they asked us to go out again. And so it was, it was a pretty successful tour for us. There was a little snafu in the beginning, where they couldn't get into the country, but um, now, like, going forward, we kind of know what to expect. Um, we kind of are, there's a couple of changes, but it's pretty much the same set as last time. A
Hmm.
couple of new songs thrown in there. And then just kind of, it's just, I love touring. Like, and I know Sean does as well. It's like going on a very long trip with a bunch of friends.
Cool
Um,
vacation with a good soundtrack.
yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, it's fun, but it's also, you're super tired. And I get sick all the time because I'm super tired and I need to be able to sleep. But, and so, we get on each other's nerves, of course. We're with each other 24/7. But overall, it's just such a great experience. And it's
Mhm.
something that, I absolutely love to do and would do it, 12 months a year if I could.
Well, I mean, for you as a singer, I mean, the first thing is if you fans want to meet you, take pictures with you, whatever. We've learned the far extreme of getting sick, it could be COVID. The normal extreme of a singer is just your voice being that. And as it is just singing every night without anything around you, being just locked in a room in vessels with, throat spray still can be a long night for a singer. Put you out
Absolutely.
amongst a bunch of people in a bus, a van, coughing and germs, cold weather, hot weather, all kinds of things with your throat. Diet is challenging to keep healthy and rest. Do you have any tricks you've learned yet or struggles you've kind of been like, oh, I need a new angle to present this? Because I know once you're touring, singers sometimes have their own little ways of doing things to kind of avoid or improve.
Yeah. Um, so immunity boosters are my
Hmm.
number one defense. I take those every day, lots of vitamins. And I just bought a nebulizer, so I'm really interested as to how that's going to help out. So I think if I can, use that before the show, I think that will help.
Yeah.
Keeping hydrated, hydration packs is really important, especially the day of the show. I always have a lozenge in my mouth as well when I sing. I'm not like a big belter, so I don't have to worry about it
Right.
like sliding down my
Yeah.
throat. But I keep that in there as well because it is very like your voice can go sideways in a second. So
That's really interesting. That's interesting to hear that. Yeah. I think the nebulizer would be good. I've heard other artists talk about that too.
yeah, yeah.
Besides
I'm
the
in
joke of you'll sleep like a baby because you know, nebulizer, but I mean it
right.
helps you. Well, that's the whole point of it. It helps you. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a really good thing, especially when you're dealing with different air flows traveling.
Yeah, and the air is never just being the air is never good. It's never right.
Right.
You're either like you said in a small space or you're in a club where God knows what's
Yeah.
in
Just
there.
never good any air in rock and roll. Yeah, you're not going there for good air. Anything in rock music, right? If you want to do that, be a farmer, like in Europe somewhere, because that's where you're gonna
Right.
get the good air. That's it, really. Left on this planet. So being on tour, and going back a second time, it's clearly you guys have a good audience that overlaps. So I mean, that's why bands would keep touring together too, because not only do you get along with the touring people, but when the audiences also get along, it's just a bigger bill for everybody. Just everybody just wins. A
Right.
strong support act helps a good, strong act. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah. And
was
it's
there a balance in the beginning? Sorry, was it but when you first started with them in the very beginning, was it like the fans were like, "Oh, who's this?" And then it was like, "Oh," and then they started being like, "Hey, guess who's opening?" You know what I mean? It was kind of like that, or from the gate, did they go, "Ah, yeah," they know who you were because it's kind of the same audience already?
I don't know. Like I think our music is a little different, but at the core there's that rebellion and that anti organized religion kind of
Right.
thought, that kind of um, that we share. I think, yeah, probably, and it's just building and building, right? So that's the point of touring is just building your base and um, yeah, I think there are people there that go for us, and there are people there that go for uh
Mhm.
for them, and yeah, like you said, they kind of mix and mingle, and everybody ends up happier in the end.
I mean, I see the difference. I mean, I see the similarities. A lot of times in these genres of music in the metal world, you get this kind of that you can sound totally different, but almost be the same type of band, have the same fans, and actually sound totally different. That's one of the
Right.
kind of cool things about it. You know, there are certain things. I mean, you're both, you know, powerful female singers and powerful. There's a certain image too. You guys have a certain, anti-religion image, and you have a certain aesthetic. You guys have visual. You guys both into visual. There's a lot of things that are very similar, very powerful music. Whether it's different, but it's just powerful. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So those are all very similar crossovers. So it's not like it's who's this band? You know,
Right.
you know. Is there plans with this album that you're doing now? Just doing pretty well. To do any more singles or do any side stuff of your own, like a bigger show, maybe like a little bit longer?
Um, so we did our own shows in Europe last year, and um, they were wonderful, but they were it just wasn't quite what we were looking for. So I think we have, I don't know if it's a single, but we have another video coming out um,
Yeah.
beginning part of March. I guess to support
Oh,
the
cool.
tour. And we're pretty excited about that. We are already starting on the next album. Um, so we've been busy writing and getting ready for tour. So everything's been pretty jam-packed.
Mhm. Um, so is there a plan to, it's like, well, actually, so what was the hard part about doing your show? Is there something like, because you guys obviously know what you want. Was there like a visual part of it, a sound this? Because I mean, it's you two guys are the main, steering the ship in the plane, whatever.
Right.
And then other musicians have to come in and play the rest of it. So not everyone's always going to be with you, whether it's, bringing out extra musician, or if you're touring, not bringing them over the country, picking them from another country. So you don't have to do with the visa stuff. There's a lot of other stuff like that going on. Are those some of the kind of challenges you guys also have?
Yeah, I mean, of course, and finding people who have the time to spend a month,
Mhm.
in
Prepping.
another continent.
Yeah.
That's difficult, right? Most people work, and asking them, hey, come along, and we're going to pay you a pittance, of what you would make at your regular job. But luckily we have some good people that enjoy it as much as we do, and they can
Yeah.
actually work on the road. So it's great. But also sound, I mean, like I'll be honest, I am super difficult to do sound for, and um I'm not trying to be difficult or anything like that, but I sing very quietly and they play loudly, right? So it's difficult to figure that out for a sound person. Usually
Especially
they
every venue is not built to be a sound place at all. There's like what if I were to like three places out of 100 that are designed for perfect sound. Everything else is like a club, and there's like a pole in the middle, so you can't even see it straight. The sound guy's not even in the center in the back where you can hear it right. He's like off to the left around the bathroom. You know, he's like, so what are you hearing? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
that's a challenge right there, just for any artist. You add the
Yeah.
dynamics of your voice and the band.
Oh,
You need a
it's yeah.
bullhorn.
Yeah, it's horrible. And generally speaking, they always try to get me to do like a dry feed, and then they'll no, because and I can't blame them because um like I said, I know I'm difficult and I sing quietly. So of course it's difficult to put effects on my voice, but I think the whole part of what we do, it has to have a lot of reverb. I have to
Mhm.
have or else sonically it's not what we're trying to get across. I don't have to sit like I don't need people to hear every single word I say. I just need to be part of the sonic landscape and you know in kind of a swimming along kind of way. And a lot of sound guys are just used to people who get out there and scream and
Right.
everybody plays loud and it's just a whatever. But we're
But you don't
pretty
understand those singers either. This is a live in this genre that we have. Sorry, no one, and this isn't James Taylor where everyone's quietly listening to every single word. You know what I'm saying? This is
right,
live rock and roll,
right,
and you're
right,
catching your breath, and you're sweating, and you're hitting the wrong notes, and you do all kinds of stuff because it's live music, and that's kind of what it's about. And you want to get the big picture. You want to get the sounds, so people in the very back are going to hear it.
right,
Something,
right.
that yeah, it sounds like the song.
Yeah.
Plus, it's depending on how old your audience is. A lot of us can't even hear certain frequencies anyhow because we've been going to concerts for so many years. High end's already cut for a lot of us. Um, but with the band, do you have a certain limited time for like a set? Do you have to work off of, or
Yeah, usually if you're direct support, it's usually 45 minutes. Um, and we fill that. So um, if you go earlier, it's usually 30 to 35, but um, whatever, we can make it work. It's just figuring out what happens
songs?
with it those 45 minutes.
Excellent. Are you meeting fans and stuff? Are you trying to meet fans after the show, or
Really, absolutely. I always head off off the stage and I go right down into the crowd and meet and greet and um shake hands and take pictures and sign stuff. So always love to do that. Love to meet the people.
that's important. That's one of the things that rock and roll does, from rock to metal, all different layers of it, does more than any other music group. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
other people in other genres that do that, but not as much as like just people that do, anything heavy with a good guitar it plugs in because it's like people usually just kind of go off and do their thing and it's fine because they don't want to get sick or they're just quiet people or whatever. But it's way more fun for the fans to take a minute and meet with you. And it's fun for you to kind of get the feedback, you know. It's definitely
Absolutely.
it's more community. I think that's what is metal's much more community, I think, than most other things. And that shows there.
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice, and it's I'll stay out there for an hour. I'm good. I'm happy to meet everybody and talk to them. I love that for sure.
But then use your voice to getting sick.
Yeah, that's part of it too. I have to be cognizant, but like when everything kind of disperses a little bit, then I disappear in the back, and usually I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm ready to go home and just go to bed.
Yep.
I just want to sleep.
Well, that's no, it's honestly, it's the thing that a lot of singers are like that. And I think you even want to go out even more. It's still very good and very telling because a lot of artists are like, it's a struggle. They're like, when I was younger, I'd do it. And I'd be out, but I'm losing my voice all the time. You know, like
Right,
I limit it now when I do it because I've got to be able to go on and perform the next day. I don't want to take a chance of getting sick and affect everything because the guitar player gets sick. He's sneezing, but he can still play. I mean,
right,
it hurts. It's a different, guitar's not going to sound different if he has the stuff he knows.
right. Exactly.
It'll still suck, but he's not going to, I mean, you sound different. Everything changes. Your instrument is affected by everything on a
Right.
different level, you know?
Yeah,
So, and
absolutely.
then the pressure's on you because then you're the singer, the hostess,
Right.
the band leader, and everything's relying on you if you can't sing. So, a little more of a responsibility. Um, the tour's starting. I up the website. You already have some of your gigs are up there now. I think is it New York's your first one?
Seattle. So we start
Seattle
on
has
the
it?
other side of the country and
Okay.
we
I don't, yeah. That's exactly why I don't. I'm not a doctor. I don't remember things very good. I looked at the dates. I just remember you had like New York, and I was trying to look at the whole thing. People reach out to you online, or where's best to see you for people to follow you and kind of keep up what's going on with you guys?
yeah, I mean Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, um, we're on all the social media things. Just reach, if you send us an IM, we'll probably respond back as long as
Mhm.
it's respectful and not something weird. But but if
That
you're,
is, yeah,
it'll be nice, so for sure.
that is kind of uncool. The weirdos online. You guys do TikTok? That's actually you
Yeah,
do TikTok?
yeah. So we didn't for the longest time, um,
That's a
and
young
then
one's game.
it's it's interesting though. It's a whole other vibe and a whole other, like, you can't just post, like when we post on Instagram, it automatically posts to our Facebook, but
Mhm.
um, you have to have a whole other TikTok. So I don't know. We're getting used to it.
So it's a lot of work, I think, and that's one of the dangers of being an artist is the amount of content that people have to put out. And I always tell the artists, I'm like, I don't know. I say a couple times a month, just pick one because you can tie those two together, Instagram and Facebook, and do a
Right.
couple things just so the fans know you're there. Maybe a Facebook Live or something where they can talk to you so you're interacting with them. You don't need to be dancing on TikTok or doing the tricks or the this and that. Go write a
No.
song, rest your voice, get ready for a tour. They want to see you live. They want to have a good album. You know,
Right.
you don't need
No.
to be a super creator. You're a creator, called a musician. You don't have to do everything. So, Gwen, I want to thank you for giving me some time today. I want people to check you guys out that aren't aware of you, and then people that are aware of you. Obviously, they already love you, and they're forever watching. Um, I'm excited. Maybe I'll hit you up when the album comes out. We can talk about a little bit more when you get that one out next time, and catch up on the tour and see where you're at. Because I think by that point you'll be looking at doing some of your own gigs, like headlining. I imagine by then, you know,
Yeah. See,
hopefully.
we're so boring. Like, we like to open because that way we can go home earlier.
That's funny. I have this thing whenever I talk to musicians, I said, as I get older, I love 7 p.m. is a good time being in your sweatpants. I'm just saying that right now, right? It's like prime time. Like I'm peaking at 7 p.m. for sweatpants time and chilling out and watching something. I'll rock during the day, like rock and roll all night. Not really, I mean, I'll rock all day, but kind of party part of
Right,
the afternoon, right? I'll party in the afternoon, but
right,
no, but
right.
the idea of driving far and doing that, I'm like, what do I always start doing rock and roll matinees? They could be just as dark and evil. I got some guys, a lot of musicians are saying, I'm better early on. I go, then if you the wild people, go out to the restaurants and eat food late at 9 or 10 o'clock at night and have a couple drinks. Let's do the show early. You know what I mean? First band at 4, second band at 5, headliners on at 6. We're all at home in our pajamas by 7:30, right?
Love it. Love
Does
it.
that sound like rock and roll? That's like metal.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll wear our black sweatpants then is what we'll do. That'll be how we keep it metal. Well,
Perfect.
that's how we are though, that and animals, and that's kind of really what metal's about, relaxing and metal. Um, Gwen, I want to thank you. I wish you guys best of luck on the tour. Um,
Thank you so much.